What's up, guys? And in today's video, we have a very special guest by the name of Nate, the owner and founder of Content Cash Media. I'm sure you guys know a lot about him, and if you don't, I'm going to give him a second to introduce himself so he can tell you a bit more about him. So, Nate, the floor is yours, my brother.
I appreciate you for having me on, first of all, bro. But yeah, if you guys don't know me, like he said, my name is Nate. I'm the founder of Content Cash Media. I am 20 years old, six-figure entrepreneur. I've been in this space for like 3 to 4 years. Started as a kind of, I guess, freelancer in the like gaming entertainment space as a video editor. Did work for people like FaZe, Rug, Broadis, NRG Esports, and then more transition to the online business space. Now working with the biggest personal brands and scaling them on YouTube. So people like Brett Scales, Sebastian Georgiou, Jacob Lavenrad. We've also done short form content stuff for like people like Neon, Love Live Serve. So yeah, that's a little bit about my background. I appreciate you having me on once again. I'm excited to talk.
Thank you, bro. I mean, you're 20, bro. How did you get started in this online journey, bro? Like, I'm still amazed that you're like literally 20 and you've worked with some of the biggest people in the online space. How did
Mhm.
you get started, bro? Like, I'm just curious around that.
For sure. I mean, I think the passion really all started from gaming back in the day. I'm sure we all had our Fortnite times or our gaming times. So that's where my passion of like YouTube and content started to come from because I was playing the video game and I was like, why can't I make money from this? So I started a YouTube channel. Long story short, I scaled that YouTube channel to like 7,000 subscribers in a couple months of just like running it, no YouTube knowledge, just like me, just having fun on the game and just understanding a little bit. After that, the quarantine had hit and I was at the crib by myself. I was like, bro, I need to make money because at this point I was playing varsity basketball, but we couldn't play because the quarantine had hit. So I was like, I need to make money, and I was like, let me start video editing. So I went back to that passion of YouTube and content creation, but at this time, just like as a video editor. And then, like I explained, like long story short, the video editing just took off just due to me grinding. So I was editing from like the age of 16, and then I kind of transitioned to more of an agency owner, and now I'm 20. So yeah, it's really been a crazy, crazy journey, which is like what I try to show even on my personal channel where I like vlog stuff and share like what actually goes on behind the scenes compared to like only the business tactics and stuff like that. So yeah.
True, true. I mean, you say that it's always been a passion of you. Like, how did you discover video editing in particular, specifically? How did you discover that video editing was your thing? Did you try a bunch of different things and then you figured out that, video editing is the thing after you tried a lot of things and then you failed, or did you just find it instantly?
Got you. I feel like that's actually a great question, bro. So basically for me, I had gravitated towards that because it's what I
Hmm.
had to do on my Fortnite channel. So I was like, this is already in the lane. And I like to tell people that come to me, I'm like, if you want to find a way to make money online, tap into what you're passionate about and mix that with a marketable skill that people need, something that people are willing to pay for, and combine them together. So that's what I really did there. I did try things like prior to it, like day trading, but I just like I had no money. So how are you gonna day trade with no money unless you're getting a funded account? But I didn't even know about that back then. I was too young. Even like how I know people like Brez, we used to be in the same Discord, like trading crypto and buying NFTs, stuff like this, like when I was an editor. But I just realized that shiny object syndrome is gonna throw you off your path. So I was just like locked in on editing and just took things from there. But yeah, that's like kind of my advice when people ask like, how can I make money online, or how do I know what's for me? I just kind of recommend to do that, and that's literally what I did on my own journey. So yeah, that's definitely a great question, bro.
Of course, of
Yeah.
course. And I'm sure it's two parts to it. It's one thing gaining the skill and then another thing monetizing it. How did
Yep.
you basically cross the bridge from having the skill to then monetizing it? Because from my experience at least, that's where a lot of people fail in that
Mhm.
monetization phase of it. How did you basically say or basically start to make money from this? Was it you doing work for free or what was your approach to that basically?
Yeah, with the video editing path, honestly, bro, at the start, you don't have that much knowledge. At the end of the day, this is a knowledge game. So for me, it was like, bro, just trial and error. Like I was trying a bunch of stuff. I probably was doing stuff wrong. Like I remember I used to tell my parents, like, I'm about to edit this video for $25. It'd be like, good job, son, blah, blah, blah. And back then they probably like they didn't think I would amount to like where I am today, which like now I've been able to give them like over $25,000 and that's all due to like just me locking on this online business stuff. So I feel like for having the skill and then learning how to monetize it is trial and error, and then don't have like an ego too big to the point where you don't want to learn from other people. I think that's another problem that people have. Like, bro, YouTube University is so good, and if you go on YouTube and search up how to sign clients or like just whatever your problem is, you can start to pick up from these people here and there, and then you mix it all together and you can make your own thesis. The only thing is you have to find people that are trustworthy and people that you would actually want to be like outside of business or whatever your craft is. So that's what I just really did. Like you have to take initiative and then just work hella hard. Like a lot of people duck the hard work and that's why they fail. But at the start, it's like I was just brute forcing action for real.
Of course, of course.
Yeah.
And who did you look up to? Like, apart from what you're doing right now, well, who are the
Yeah.
people that you saw looking out that were a source of inspiration, if you will, to basically push you to do what you're doing today?
Yeah, back then, bro, a lot of people like to like make jokes or hate on him, but Iman Ghazi,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion, one of the ghosts for me because he made me realize like if he was 18, yeah, I think like 18 and he was making like I don't know, over $100,000 per month for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And like I saw that and I saw the agency model, and that's what really allowed me to learn what leverage meant because I was doing all this video editing, which was cool. I was getting the connections to clients. People were starting to understand my name in the space, know what I do, but I didn't have leverage. And when I saw Iman doing it, I was like, if he's doing it, what makes me any different? Like if we started around similar ages and he's successful, why can't I be successful? So after I saw what he was doing with the agency model, I just kind of tapped into that. So I was like kind of like the big inspo. I wouldn't say I had any like huge inspirations in the editing community, but I remember like when I started off, like I would literally like when I remember when I first made my Twitter account and people would like kind of like the DMs I used to send, but it's probably like 4 years ago at this point, and I DM'd like 50 to 100 people the same copy and paste message, just like, "Hey, my name's Nate. I'm starting off as an editor. Do you have any advice for me? I'm looking to like really take this thing serious and take off." And from the people that replied, I took their advice and applied it. And once again, those are just things that a lot of people when they start, they don't take it as serious. And if they did, like, bro, everything you want is on the other side of doing those things that you're scared of or hopping out the comfort zone. So that's like what I really recommend personally. Yeah.
Of course. Were you ever scared when you started out in the beginning or no?
When I started the agency,
Yeah, when you started the agency, did you think things were not going to work out or, to that effect, or did you just not care and just brute force it?
Um, it was I think I'm a huge person when it comes to like I guess quote unquote like testing. So
Hmm.
I wasn't gonna go like full force, like just outsource everything. I was
Hmm.
editing and I would have these clients where I built such a great relationship with. I've communicated with them. They love me. I love their stuff. Like they understand what I'm doing, right? So I
Hmm.
would the best client relationships, I would start to outsource those. And the way that I found editors back then, I was doing everything myself. So the marketing, finding editors, whatever the case may be, designers, strategizing and posting, everything. I was doing everything. So I would
Hmm.
build out my team, find these people that like I could relate to. I have good intuition, so I'd find them and I would outsource work to them, communicate, and then I would slowly do that process. But it's not like I just cold hard like quit editing. No, I was still
Hmm.
editing videos myself. I was still handling the process, and I slowly, piece by piece, went and outsourced things, and I got knowledge, and I started learning more and more. So that's how that process really like built out. I wouldn't say I was scared, but I
Hmm.
also knew the possibility of what could go wrong on the other side if
Hmm.
outsourcing didn't go well. And this is when I really realized the power of communication and transparency and honesty and just integrity overall. And that helped me retain a ton of clients. Even I was just straight up with them, like I'm building out a team. And a lot of editors
Hmm.
or whatever position people might be in, they might be scared to tell whoever they're working with or whoever they work for that they're kind of going for a bigger goal and doing a bigger thing. And I think if you can
Hmm.
be transparent about that, people respect you way more. So that really helped me like at the beginning, bro. Yeah.
Interesting. And did you struggle when you were building out the team? Like, were they things that you had to learn the hard way in terms of building out a team, or was it just smooth sailing, which it almost always never is? But I'm
Yeah,
curious.
for sure. I think I had to get to a point where I was running. So basically, long story short, I'll give you kind of more of a rundown here so you can get the context.
Hmm.
But I was an editor, and then I started, I guess, more of this agency model, but I didn't have the agency branded as Content Cash Media. And I started this
Hmm.
around the time when I went into college. So first semester, I think I went into college, I hit like my first 10K revenue month, and I obviously like it was cool, but I was hungry for more.
Hmm.
At the time I was working part-time for a company called the Growth Partner. And during that first semester in college, which is like 4 months, we made them $115,000 in 115 days direct from YouTube organic. And at this point, I was like, okay, I want to take this agency stuff serious. So I dropped out of college, and from there, I was like, okay, I understand like how to run an agency to an extent. So I basically ran that for like the entire year. So 2023 to 2024, I believe so. Or it might be 2024 to 2025. Yeah, 2024 to 2025, I believe. But after that period, as I went into the start of this year, I ended up getting basically a mentor, I believe like 2 to 3 months into the year. And I was able to learn more about like mainly because I don't come from this space. I come from an entertainment, video editing, content creation background. I don't come from like a sales funnel or like direct response, like all the types. I don't really understand the most. Obviously now I do, but back then I didn't. So I learned out how to build teams. I learned sales, marketing, fulfillment. I learned like building things until they break, all that type of stuff. And after I learned that, I was able to build out my team. But the way I built my team is just like through just once again intuition and seeing who's as hungry as me and who actually has passion for the game. Obviously, we've had like team members come and go, not for any like bad reasons. Like they got bigger opportunities to work for companies and they would leave, and then like God willing, someone would just like come in and replace them. Someone would shoot me a DM and they're highly qualified. I interview them, put them in this place. So yeah, that's just like really been the process for it. Thank God I've really been blessed when it comes to team members. I love my team, probably one of the best teams in the game, if not the best. So like we just been building and stacking, adding pieces as we go, whether it's full-time editors. The admin team is just like amazing. COO, content strategists, reviewers, script writers, doesn't really matter. Like we're just on top of our stuff. So yeah.
Course, of course. And you mentioned, doing things until they break. Have there been things that have broken just from you like doing things and brute forcing, or not at all so far?
Probably like a period in time where, I mean, for sure, because I think that's what it takes to grow. So
Mm-hmm.
like for example, if you're brute forcing your marketing, right, that's gonna lead to
Mm-hmm.
you getting tons of sales, and that's what you want to happen. And then you want to get to a point where you're taking so many sales calls and closing those people that you have to do all this fulfillment work. And then if the fulfillment breaks, what do you have to do? You have to hire more people. So it's like a constant cycle if you're scaling an
Mm-hmm.
agency or a business that you kind of have to follow.
Mm-hmm.
There's obviously different levels where there's different things. Right now, we have a pretty solid foundation. But yeah, I think you're always like if you're scaling a business, things are gonna not necessarily break, but you want to go to the point where you damn near feel like it is gonna break, because that's how you're gonna be able to tell like, okay, now I can hire this person, or now I can focus on marketing, or I can focus on sales, or I can focus on fulfillment. I can slow down on this part of the business and I can speed up on this one. And you kind of play it by either like by ear or like whatever time of the year it is like for you and your business. And yeah, just do it like that. Like for example, in this quarter four, I'm going to be highly focused on marketing, and I want to push that extremely hard. And prior to this, I've already like hired people. Like our team is solid. It's solid. Our structure is solid. So even if I go hard on marketing and we have tons of sales calls, I'm gonna be able to handle anything that comes in. So yeah, I kind of think of it like that.
100%. And
Yeah.
from what you spoke about in the beginning in terms of leverage, is your main like focus now transitioning from being in the weeds, doing all the video editing and the heavy lifting, from now being the actual business owner and the person that, strategizes, what you're going to be doing this year and moving forward?
Yeah, for sure. I think my main focus in the business now is first, like I'm still heavily tapped in, so I'll tell you what I had handle. So when we onboard a
Hmm.
client, I'm obviously handling like the sales, like every sales call I take myself. When we
Hmm.
onboard a client to our system, the main strategy docs that they get, I handle that process entirely. But
Hmm.
besides that, my COO, and then the junior reviewer. they are mainly focused on the video production side. So I could literally leave. Like I was out of state
Mhm.
from Thursday till Sunday,
Mhm.
and video production has been smooth. For the strategy side of things, I'm mainly focused on high leverage strategy. So ideation and then execution of those ideas. And obviously I'm like I'll still drop small notes on videos and thumbnails, but like even for the
Mhm.
strategy side, I have a content strategist there that is handling like every thumbnail package, figuring that stuff out. And then we have a junior script writer that's also going through and he helps with the script writing and all that type of stuff. So in terms of like that, it's handled. But I'm more of like an overviewer and making sure I'm revising things here and there, giving my insight because I have a very unique way that I think about content that I've
Mhm.
obviously taught my team and trained them how to do it. So it is replicated throughout the company, but I obviously need to put in my own insight. So yeah, that's how like my main focus is right now. Yeah, marketing, sales, and then I really want to just take personal brand extremely serious because I believe if we get
Mhm.
more traffic and I blow up our brand, there's nothing stopping us from having the biggest agency in our space because we already have like hella results. Like we work with some of the biggest brands out there. So like I know if I just keep marketing, get more traffic, only good things can come from like building a solid personal brand, especially on YouTube and even expanding into like short form content stuff.
True, true. Do
Yeah.
you think it's made it easier for you to get bigger clients simply because you've worked with the big guys already? So it's just formulating that trust because you've already worked with those guys. So do you think it makes it a lot easier reaching out for you?
100%, bro. Like it's like a
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like especially in the info space too, like
Mm-hmm.
in the space that we come from, like it's like if you do trash work for one other person, that spreads quick.
Mm-hmm.
And like the way that I work, that's why I work so hard. Everyone that we work with, no one can
Mm-hmm.
say like anything bad about our company.
Mm-hmm.
And that word of mouth it spreads. So if I do work with, let's say, Brez, for example, and we end up crushing it for him, and then I was like, oh, Brez. Brez comes to me is like, my boy needs YouTube, and I can go to him. It's like an easy close, like, or anyone we work with, like this whole space knows each other. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why, like, sometimes, and there's a lot of random accounts lurking on Twitter too. Like, for example, the other day. I was chilling and then I saw Tim Long. He followed me on Twitter. He was like, "Hey, bro, I love your content. I want to talk with how you can help our company on YouTube." And just like the real are gonna recognize the real. And if you're doing good work for these top guys, and obviously it
Mm-hmm.
didn't start like that, bro. Like I had these smaller level clients. I had to work my way up because I'm probably one of the last people that's like really started a YouTube content agency. A lot of people really started before me because I was just editing. But I really have
Mm-hmm.
passion for it and I put in the time, I put in the effort. So yeah, that's really like how that's kind of gone for real, bro. Yeah.
Cool, cool. I know you only working with people in the info land, or are you taking on clients that are, spread out across?
It depends. It
Mm-hmm.
definitely depends. Like for full service stuff, ideally info, but we've worked with people that are more like agency or B2B. We've also worked with like software guys that are more talking
Mm-hmm.
about software stuff. So we help there, but we also have one-off services. So for example, we help like at Mafia with like video editing and also like some thumbnail strategy, which they're like, focused on the software space. Or we can have people that
Mm-hmm.
come for us for like VSLs and they might necessarily not be info, but we can help them. So anything production wise that's long form, we can probably help them out. But specifically for like our done for you YouTube offer, preferably info works the best, but I'm quite flexible on it if it can make sense on like them getting ROI or them seeing what they want to see out of the service. And we also have like different tiers of pricing and offers. So we're able to basically sell to anyone that comes to us to an extent. So yeah, that's the best part about it.
100%. And how
Yeah.
do you go about, specifically that ideation process for YouTube growth organic? How do you think about that? Like, how do
Yeah.
you take some person, or you can just continue?
No, for sure. I got you, bro.
Mm-hmm.
How I think about the ideation process. For
Yeah.
us here, when we're trying to turn your content into cash, which is why the company is called Content Cash Media, it all comes
Mm-hmm.
down to the ideal customer profile. So who are you actually selling to on YouTube? That's the first thing you have to like kind of, know and understand. And then
Mm-hmm.
what I do is I gather data and I think of it like from a psychological standpoint. So I'm thinking of like what are the psychographics of our audience with the pains, desires, the fears, and motivators? How can we take those insights and reverse engineer them into content ideas that people that we want to sell to want to watch, and we just directly want to put that content and position it right in front of their faces to buy. And then from there, I kind of tap into the competitive edges of our client where they're unique, different, or better. And then I YouTubeify all those aspects. And when I say YouTubeify, it's just like actually understanding YouTube strategy, which a lot of people don't understand. People just think it's copying outliers, but it's not only that, you have to find a way to make things new and make things better. And then, yeah, we kind of take all those insights, YouTubeify, and then handling the entire process. Like, we want to make sure our stuff is sophisticated. Does your video editing and your on-camera presence actually speak to your ICP? Do you look like someone they would trust? How's your on-camera presence? How are you speaking? How do you come across? All those type of things, and then coming up with unique angles of how they can stand out compared to everyone else that's in their niche, their competitors. So those are all the things I think about and how I kind of think about strategy. So that's like, yeah, the overview of how we think about it at CCM.
True, true.
Yeah,
And how do you think about in terms of, YouTube and as a whole? Like for example, if you're doing info, how do you think in terms of like say you have this specific ICP that you want to hit, right? How do you think about the in like the mechanisms in terms of keywords, SEO and things of that nature? How do you optimize for that?
got you. Yeah, how I think about YouTube in general as a whole is, and why I've kind of shut off like our short form service and just specifically focus on YouTube is I think
Mm-hmm,
it's the platform that has the most amount of nurture and potential to turn like a view into a high ticket product being sold, which is like why
mm-hmm,
we have clients. Like for example, recently we have a client, he started at 300 subscribers. He's now
mm-hmm,
at like 1.3K, 1.4K subscribers, but he's cash collected over six figures direct from YouTube traffic. And not even all of our videos get over 1,000 views. And it's
mm-hmm,
actually crazy. I just believe like YouTube's the best platform for turning your content into cash when it comes to like I guess the metadata, the optimization, titles, thumbnails.
mm-hmm,
Once again, for me it just comes down to like who are you targeting? At the end of the day though,
mm-hmm,
YouTube is a game of like they want you to make content for a specific person. And if you have good content and people watch the entire way through after they click on the video, they're gonna pull in the audience that you want to attract on the platform. So that's like the main thing with YouTube. And then if you can reverse engineer everything around that, once again, I would focus on it. A lot of people talk about tags, description. I mean, a lot of those things are actually outdated. At the end of the day, you should be focused on just making good content that you know your audience wants to watch, put it out there, let it organically grow for weeks, even months if it has to, because YouTube sometimes is slow depending on your audience side. And yeah, just run it like that is like how I've kind of thought about it for our clients. You want to make videos so good where people don't even feel like they're being sold to, and content so good that you'd watch your videos yourself and not even like feel cringed out. Is like what I try to do for our clients.
true, true. And
Yeah.
are there people that you had to learn this specific way of thinking about YouTube from?
Um, I've been through a lot, bro. Ever since
Hmm,
I've just, like I said, YouTube University, I've gone through like online courses for I can't even remember like the exact names of these people, but I've been through like courses, online masterminds, or just like recordings and whatever they're talking about. And
mhm,
once again, I just take notes and I start to piece together these things, and I start to realize, also just watching once again a lot of YouTube content and picking up gems that people drop, and I'm like, this makes sense. And also just like time in the game, because I've been doing this for like 3, 4 years now. So I start to pick up on my own insights, what I'm seeing with clients. I've developed my own way where we're gonna post for a client and actually, decide when we're gonna start marketing that video. And just like small things you start to see like in the analytics or whatever you're handling. And I kind of take those things and just like once again, just apply them. And I'm picking up gems from everyone. So like being humble enough to learn from everyone, I think is super, super important. I can't even recall like how many like courses or stuff I've been through. I just go through them. A lot of people would BS if they go through something, but I'm actually watching and I'm intentionally like opening a Google Doc and taking notes on everything I find valuable. And then I go back to those things, go back to those things and actually apply them. Is like how I kind of think about like, yeah, people that I've quote unquote learned from. At the end of the day, like no one is really original, right? You're just gonna steal like an artist. So staying like an artist and then finding your own spin onto it is like how I kind of just learn in the space. Being extremely humble is like something I like to stick to for sure.
100%. And what has been the biggest lesson or takeaway from working with the biggest clients that you've had to learn now that you something that you're actively implementing now that you had to learn in the past?
Mm, mm. I would probably say something that I've had to learn that in the past I'm now implementing now. I feel like taking your time to understand what the goal of every client is super
Hmm.
super important. Because some people actually do care about their views and subscribers. Some people care about brand recognition because they want to sell a referral or affiliate program. Some people care about selling an info product and they want to come that way. So with our process, we have a questionnaire, and
Hmm.
whenever a client comes on board, they fill that out. We're able to tap into those insights and just like if we're going to be handling their content at a done for you scale, handling the entire process, we want to
Hmm.
create the content and not have it feel outsourced. We want it to genuinely feel like our clients just getting on camera and recording. That's the whole point of it. And I feel
Hmm.
like if we can, understand what their goal really is, that's super important. If we can move with speed, and understand the feedback loops of the content, as well. Posting one time a week, I feel like that's also extremely important. And then another thing is probably just like just team structure. I think I learned a lot of like organizational things or like process and systems things as you get more clients and you understand how people work. And I think me alongside my COO and our whole admin team have kind of realized what those patterns are, and now that we understand those patterns, we've been able to like make a process and a system that is like just damn near perfect. So whenever we onboard a client, get them into the system, video production, thumbnail strategy, like it's just in flow and it's just like we're hitting things. But you can't create that process without once again, like you're saying, the failures, without the trial and errors. And I think, yeah, those things right there are probably like the biggest things I've learned working with the biggest guys because you have to realize like how organized these people are, how busy they are, which is like why I'm saying move with speed. We work with a lot of people. I really don't even take calls with a lot of my clients besides like the sales calls, but we communicate daily, like tons in Slack. So yeah, those are like probably the biggest things I've learned. So yeah, I think that was a really good question, bro. By the way, too. Yeah,
Thank you, thank you very.
for sure.
So my question now is, well, you mentioned how important speed is in business. What does it come down to when you're talking about speed? Does it mean speed in terms of responses? Does it mean speed in terms of, editing videos? Is it speed in just getting things done? Like, what is your definition of speed in business for you?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like speed in business is just like how bad do you want it, bro?
Hmm.
And obviously that's big, but to me, like at the end of the day, like how bad do you want to succeed? How bad do you want to hit your goals? And that's why I wake up every morning so hungry to get after it. Specifically for like obviously like client stuff, like bro, communication. We have like a feedback form, and whenever clients talk about our communication, it's 5 stars. Like no, like our communication's top tier, and that's because we text daily, we're responding fast. That's just speed stuff. Obviously, I'm not
Hmm.
mainly talking about like speed with editing, and all that type of stuff, even though we post one time per week, that's cool. But it's just like
Hmm.
realizing like, bro, you shouldn't like if you really want something so bad and you desire it, why are you moving so slow towards that goal? And I'm not saying like don't plan and don't like strategize for things, but once you have a plan, strategize and set, like bro, don't be scared to fail. Like just start doing stuff. You probably will fail, you probably will mess up. But I feel like being able to even like take opportunities that's like might make me seem quote unquote scared or it might be a risk, and just like being able to go out of your comfort zone and do these huge projects. Like right now we're working on some huge videos that I'm not even talking about, or working with these huge clients to like where oh it's either you win or you fail, like taking these huge risks and just realize like bro, that's moving with speed and just me wanting a goal, and you're gonna fail. You might win some, might lose some, and that's okay. Like I fail on opportunities on trials all the time. It's part of the game. But that's like more so what I mean with it. Like just don't be afraid to like just do stuff and go after what you want. Because you never know which one could hit. Because there's obviously like some opportunities that are gonna be a miss, and then there could be an opportunity where it's a make, and that could change your entire career, or whatever you're doing in your craft. So yeah, that's how I kind of like to think about that one, bro.
True, true.
Sure.
And did you ever imagine yourself being in the position that you're in, working with the clients that you're working with at the moment, or is it just one of those things that seemed far-fetched at the time, when you were much younger, of course?
Nah, for sure, bro. 100%. I knew this time was going to come, like humbly speaking,
Hmm.
because like I had a YouTube video where I was even recently talking about like the power of just like prayer, manifestation, and just like putting in the work. Obviously, like that's the main thing, but I wouldn't say it just like kind of happened. And I was kind of shocked. I've grinded for this like my entire life. I really just knew it was just like a matter of time, and I just had to keep going, keep going, keep going. Even now, like I'm not even content at all. I know I can do way bigger. I know how smart the team and I are. I know how big I can take even my personal brand. That's a whole separate side, like from the business. The business is itself. I can do so much stuff on the personal brand side, and there's just so much potential out there. So every step, I was even talking to like one of my boys in person, and he was like, "Bro, I really trust you, like with what you're doing. I don't think you're gonna like ever like fall off or like go down the wrong path because it seems like," he literally said word for word, "It seems like everything you do is calculated." And I was like, "Yeah, bro, it's like everything I do is calculated because I know, like I don't take this online business stuff for granted. Like even though we're literally just making money by clicking, buttons on our keyboard. Like I don't take it for granted at all. I take it very, very serious, and that's why I'm calculating with every play. What I'm gonna do with the business? What am I gonna do with the personal brand? What am I gonna do with investments? Which is like the recent vlog I just dropped, buying a piece of real estate. I have six figs in like stocks and other investments. So like just being smart about it because it's all a long term game at the end of the day, and that's how like I'm playing it, and that's how I'm setting up myself. So yeah, for sure, I definitely knew it was gonna come. It was just like it's more so not when it's gonna come. I mean, not how it's gonna come, but just like when. So yeah, that's like was the scenario there.
Of course, of course. It's just those small, compounding actions that ultimately
Exactly.
lead you to where you are. Of course, of
Exactly.
course.
100%.
So,
It's
so
just
are
like for you.
there thing?
I was
Mhm.
gonna say. Yeah, I was just about to say it's just like for you too, doing like the daily videos and compounding it. Like bro, people are gonna recognize that and want to like tap into what you're doing as well, or anything else that anyone that's watching is doing. Like if you do something every day, like bro, it's gonna pay off for sure.
100%. And what are your thoughts on doing 365? Do you know about that or not?
More so like your daily video series.
Yeah, yeah, 365, one full year.
I think it worked well for Ryan Clark and it could work well for you. The only thing like with that, I think Ryan was able to build a solid audience on Twitter as well, and those people also started
Hmm.
watching his videos. I my thoughts on YouTube actually when it comes to like quantity versus quality is
Hmm.
that quantity and volume builds quality. So even I had to like understand this myself because I was running all these big personal brands and I had never really been in front of the camera too often myself. So I basically
Hmm.
did like I was ripping like 2 to 3 like Miro board loom videos per week, just putting out quantity, trying to get better on
Hmm.
camera, receiving feedback from my mentor, seeing like where I'm doing good, where I'm not doing good. And then I did that for like I believe 2, 3 months, and now to the point like where I can go record a talking video, Miro board video. I don't need to do pauses. I used to have to like edit the videos up. Like I've
Hmm.
just gotten better
Hmm.
at speaking, and I'm a
Hmm.
huge like person that volume will eventually equal quality. So as you kind
Hmm.
of do the daily videos or anyone that's creating content daily, like you're eventually gonna see what's working. Actually identify those things. Don't BS on it. Like identify what's working and see like how can I double down on this? How can I change the angle? This is another thing that we do for our clients. So and then the things that are
Hmm.
not working, remove those from the process. Check your retention. Where are people dipping off? All this type of stuff. Note them down, and then every video, or Mosey likes to say this, just get better and better, better and better every video. So yeah.
Of, of course. What were the things that you did to get better that got you noticed by, the people that you're working with today?
Mm. Honestly, bro, just one client experience is like 0 to none. I've had tons
Hmm.
of people come to me, even like recently, bro. They would be like, "You run like the greatest agency I know. Like it's just so smooth." Or another guy was hitting me up. He was like, "Bro, you have to be like one of the hardest workers I know." And he's like, not even trying to glaze me. He's just like seeing like the work that we
Hmm.
see. I think another thing is like definitely marketing. I think the
Hmm.
way I market. I don't paint any unrealistic pictures, or I don't like do any like tacky stuff. All I do when I market is show our results, show our testimonials, show our case studies, and then a little bit in there I just show like what I do on the daily, like my lifestyle, how I think, etc.
Hmm.
And once again, real recognizes real, and people start
Of
to
course.
gravitate you. And it's another aspect to it where you start meeting these people in person. So when you
Hmm.
start to, like, for example, I've met Brez in person. I last week I met up with KT Hustles, which is like he really had one of the biggest info products in the Amazon FBA space. Or my boy Mo, who tapped me into the real estate project and getting me in with his mentor. So like when you start to meet people in person and they can see like, bro, you're the same person online that you are in person, and like you're not changing up, which is exactly what most said about me. That's where it really starts to hit, because people realize you're not a weirdo. They're obviously you're someone that can help them, and it's not only like a one-sided help type relationship. It's like both sides benefit from it, and then yeah, people are gonna realize that, and then they're just gonna want to tap in, and that's really been the case for us. Like we get results for these huge names, and just other stuff comes from that. So you the work is eventually going to show. You can't hide good work and passion to the game, and that's what's just really happened to us. So it's just like really all glory to God for the outcomes that's come out of that, because it's been a long time coming. Just like us working extremely hard. So yeah.
True. True. And how important has, people been along your journey in terms of connecting with people and just, sharing knowledge with people? How important has that, been to getting you where you are right now?
Yeah. Like I said, I was talking to Casey last week, and we were talking about how you never want to lose like the kiddish mindset of like
Hmm.
being able to learn new things. And I think that's super important. I think anyone that I even hop on a call with, meet in person, whatever the case it may be, I try to learn something from them, because especially like the people that I'm doing business with, typically
Hmm.
these clients are more successful than me, and not might not be to like a huge scale, but I believe everyone knows something that you don't, and you can learn from them. So I just take that into any relationship that I go into in business. And once again, I think just dropping the ego is a lot of like a problem a lot of people have. If you can just drop your ego and realize you're not as smart as you think you are, because if you were as smart as you think you are, you would have more money than you do. And just be open to learn. Be ears, bro. Open the ears over the mouth. I think is super important. And that's just allowed me once again to get people to rock with you too. Because like if you a lot of people that are just like yapping all the time, talking over listening, it like people don't end up liking you. So just being able to listen and just like, yeah, apply that knowledge as well. That's another part of it. But yeah, just listening and then application for sure.
True. Have you had experiences like that?
In terms of what exactly, like just me listening and applying, and then it pays off.
Both in terms of that and also people that, have a big ego over
Mm.
than just listening and hearing what you have to basically learning from other people, essentially.
Yeah, for sure, bro. That's a funny question. I feel like for example, like a lot of people, more like I guess through the DMs online, or like when I meet people like in person, like in my state, they will
Mhm.
be like, "Yo, bro, put me on, tap me in. I want to learn online business." And obviously, like I'm not some guru. I don't sell any like personal, like I don't sell any product like directly tied to
Mhm.
myself. But I'm always willing to give people advice and help. So I'll shoot them something, whatever, help them out in their situation, and they just won't apply it. And
Mhm.
I honestly get confused, because it's like someone give me the blueprint and then you're not following it. Compared to like basically my brother, my best friend, my boy Mike,
Mhm.
I've known this guy like my whole entire life. And I've given him like feedback and a plan for like his business, whether that's his Amazon stuff or his trading stuff. And I've seen him like
Mhm.
actually apply what I've said. And I've seen this guy going from making $0 online to actually profiting thousands like from
Mhm.
online business. So it's like if he can do it, why can't other people like also just be able to listen and apply things? So that's like the main situation where I see it. For myself personally, like 100%, like for example, the real estate property, Mo wouldn't have tapped me in if I wasn't like someone that he rocked with and knew like I was trustworthy and knew that I would actually invest money into the property just by talking with him and having that conversation. And me, like I think it was like 2 weeks to a month prior, we were eating dinner. And I was like, bro, if an opportunity comes up and I like it, like I will send the money. Opportunity came up, less than a week went by. He said in the vlog, I sent the wire in, and just like people trusting your word and knowing who you are is just super important. So I feel like those are probably two situations where it's just like don't have an ego because it's gonna screw you up. Or if someone's gonna give you like sauce, be able to apply it. I was talking to KT last week. He was giving me sauce about credit cards, around free traveling, about living a situation, all that type of stuff. And I'm generally gonna apply it. Like I'm really in the process of doing some stuff for like some credit. So like it's just like you have to apply the sauce you get, or else you're sleeping on a gold mine, bro, from people that are ahead of you, smarter than you, and also have more money than you. So yeah, that's how I kind of think about it.
100%. Do you think the barrier to entry is pretty low nowadays, considering that it takes a lot more effort to, build?
Mm. Is the barrier entry lower? I feel like online business in general
Hmm.
has like it's never been easier to make money online. I feel
Hmm.
like the problem is people once again don't understand what their passion is or what they would be passionate about, and then also defining like the marketable skill that people are willing to pay for. If they could understand that, they can definitely go and make money online because, bro, there's tons of free education out there, like tons. Like I didn't pay for a course when I started. I like it was just like I just executed. And so I really needed like a one-on-one mentorship. So like that's how I kind of see it. I think it's never been easier, but also with this like being there, I feel like there's also a pendulum swing to it to where it's also not going to be easy. But bro, if it was easy, everyone would do it, and it wouldn't be fun. And that's what people have to realize, like about online business. Like it's stressful as hell too, bro. Like I work 12-hour days. I have days where I'm pulling all nighters, and like I'm working till the sun is rising, and like that's another part that comes with it that people also don't see. But if you want the freedom, like once again everything else that you want is on the other side of like putting in the work and staying down and just like working hard. And I want freedom for myself in the future, but also for my family and be able to take care of the people I love. And that's gonna come from me just like grinding out. So feel like people need to understand what comes with the game, but I feel like also the times have never been easier to like just make money online and find opportunities, especially if you're a cool person and someone that actually is gonna put in the work.
True, true. Do
Yeah.
you think that aspect is like super important as well? Like you can be someone that is quote unquote like well known and things like that, but also you need to also kind of like be valuable and like, be someone that someone that is worth helping, if you get what I mean. Like
Yeah.
you can be well known, but also at the same time you somewhat have to have somewhat of a I like to think of it like somewhat of a credibility in the sense that like you've done something to show that you're someone worth helping.
100%. I think you're spot on, bro. Like that's why like all these I guess guys that are bigger, they're more
Hmm.
so looking for people that they can learn from. They're looking for experts, which is like why like even the guy if the guys at the top are still learning, it's like why aren't you learning? Because like I will speak to anyone I speak to, they're gonna be like, yo, they're trying to learn something from me about YouTube,
Hmm.
about content. They know I know more than them in that sector, and that's why they're gonna be willing to pay me. And at the
Hmm.
day, getting paid is just really about what problem does somebody have and how can you solve that problem. If you do that correctly, they will pay you forever, especially if their pain is big enough. So I think that's really like really important. Obviously, you have to be someone of value, of skill, of knowledge, and I'll see like a lot of people. They'll be like, "Yo, how do I get more connections in the space? How do I get more followers?" And it comes down to being someone of value. If you're not someone of value, no one cares. Like no one's gonna want to follow you on Twitter. No one's gonna want to, work with you. No one's gonna want to invite you to an event or to a yacht. Like you bring no value to the table, so why would people want to be around you just for you? Everyone that's in a certain area is gonna bring value, and I feel like people don't. I feel like people might think they need to do something super big to have value, which might be like a limiting belief to them. But just getting really good at one marketable skill can genuinely change your life, and that's what happened with me and just like YouTube and content marketing in general. So yeah, I agree with you, bro.
True, true. If you had to start again, like, do you think it would be easier to start again and get to where you are right now, like in this time, or would it have been easier back then, or would it have been the same?
I think if I had the knowledge that I have like current state and I started right now, like
Mm-hmm,
definitely it'll be easier and faster to get to where I am because it did take it wasn't like fast, but
mm-hmm,
I also do like have a huge moat right now. And in terms like when I say moat, just like competitors really can't like get to what we're doing because of who we've worked with and how many case
mm-hmm,
studies and testimonials they have. Like there's never a point where I get on a sales call or talk to someone and they can't believe like the proof and stuff we've done. It's never a like an objection on our work or trusting our work. It's always gonna be on them not having enough money to invest into like what we have. So I think that's probably like the only thing different. But I feel like once again, with the knowledge I have now, I'll still be able to get those same clients, get those same results, and just do it 10 times faster. I'll be able to understand how to structure my team better, how to structure payments, how to structure invoicing clients, like all these things. I'll just know them better, faster, sales, marketing, fulfillment. And yeah, I'll definitely be able to scale it faster, but also I feel like that's an unrealistic way to think because
mm-hmm,
I believe like you must be able to like fail to learn, and just take those quote unquote failures and just position them in your mind as lessons. Everything you do wrong or learn from becomes a lesson, and just apply that into like the next time you go to do something. It could be the smallest things in your life too. It's something that I try to apply daily. Like if I make a mistake or something happens to me that I don't like, what can I note down for the next time? That's really something I was doing today for like my vlog. I didn't like how I didn't record like the last 2 days. I told myself I wasn't gonna record, but I was like, next time, let me just record because you know what? If I have the footage, it's better to be there because we might use a little bit of it than me wanting to have more footage and then not having anything at all. So just like small tweaks, it could be small tweaks in your life, and if you can just like keep that mindset of a learner, it's gonna pay off. Is how I think about that one, brother.
100%. And what are you seeing that you or like what your competition's doing or not doing that you're actively implementing that's allowing you to get ahead?
Yeah. I think I was pretty, I guess, quote unquote, early on when it came to like some AI
Mm-hmm,
stuff. So we have like some custom GPTs in our like internal team that work pretty well and like help our workflow. Another
mm-hmm,
thing probably is just like systems and operations. I have my CEO is like one of, if not the best in the game in the space at what he does, and he really understands his job extremely well. And he just
mm-hmm,
crushed it. I think that's another huge edge and huge moat. Besides that, just like marketing results, I don't think you're gonna go on like Twitter or YouTube and see like a lot of people talk about like who they're helping, what they're exactly doing. They might be
mm-hmm.
locked down to like certain contracts where they can't talk about it, but you can't hide the work and the proof is in the pudding of like what we're doing. So that's another thing, like as well. And then yeah, the results just speak for itself. The case studies, the testimonials, the names we work with, you can't really beat it, and that helps obviously people gravitate towards us. At the end of the day, I also don't even view it as necessarily like competition. I know business is like a competition type of game, but it's just like if you're in a race, like the best swimmer is like focused on winning. He's not looking at who's to his left, who's to his right. You just focus on winning. And I think there's honestly enough bread out there for anyone that's in this space to win. So that's how I kind of think about that one. But to answer your question, like I think those things probably like help us stand out, our team structure, just like yeah, all that type of stuff.
And have you always had that mindset of focusing on yourself and what you're doing in order to get ahead, or is that something that has just come about recently as you've gotten more skin in the game?
I feel like, bro, just like I think that's always been there for me because like I'll even learn from competitors. Like it doesn't matter how big or how small they are. If they're doing
Hmm.
something that's smart, why would I not pick up on it and try to do it in my own way? That's once again just having like the kiddish mindset. And I think it's low key an ego if you're not trying to learn from people that are quote unquote competing with you. Obviously, there's nuance to this, and there's a certain scale to where you are a trailblazer in your niche. Like for some of our clients, they're like at the top of their niches, and we can't really like copy outliers like from people that are in the same niche. We kind of have to trailblaze our new ideas or take inspo from other adjacent niches or take inspo from broad YouTube and see how we can make the video new or better. But yeah, that's how I kind of think about it. Like it's always been just a mindset of like focus on winning, focus on you, be humble enough to learn from every and anybody because you never know what can help you, and just keep it cordial, bro. It's like it's online business. Obviously, it's like it's not like we're competing and trying to kill each other. Like there's enough money out there for like that's how I personally think about it. Yeah.
Of course, of course.
Yeah.
And what is the role of AI in terms of like what you're building out? Is there
Mhm.
any place where you're plugging in AI? I know you mentioned, your internal GPTs, but externally, like outside of that, is there any specific role that AI is playing for you, whether it's like ideation or just ultimately like creating the videos or anything
Yeah.
in that realm?
Yeah, so obviously I've had like I've explained this, so I have a lot of knowledge when it comes to like the YouTube stuff, like just being through the courses, and I documented all those things and just like any other knowledge I have or successful client videos, we store all those in our database. So we
Mhm,
have a custom GPT when it comes to script writing, when it comes to ideation, onboarding, VSL writing. I mean, created some new ones like recently, so I'm trying to like really
mhm,
remember. For more of like our entertainment videos for clients.
mhm,
Um, so yeah, we have all those, and then also on more of like the operational and system side, my CEO mainly handles this, but systems when it comes to make.com, there's AI automations there. So like client feedback, updates with videos, like a whole bunch of stuff. We have tons of like automations that are being just sent out there. But I mean, I'm a huge fan of AI, always trying to leverage it every single day. But I definitely know it's like saving us a ton of time. So I'm just grateful for it. But yeah, if you're not implementing AI, like, what are you doing? It's like, yeah, it's like, what are you doing? For sure.
of course, of course.
Yeah.
And like in terms of back to the info thing that we were speaking
Yeah.
about, what have you seen works in terms of, if you're selling info, is it long form content like longer than 15 minutes or 15 minutes and below that ultimately converts better?
Yeah, so for time ranges, it really, once again, it depends. I'd say 15 on average is a good point to stick to. We also like to leverage
Mm-hmm.
like video formats that are longer and like more raw
Mm-hmm.
videos. Like for example, we have free course formats that we leverage. But how I like to think about content is like we have a approach where you kind of like think of it as a YouTube ecosystem to where
Mm-hmm.
you're having these people come and watch your videos. They're gonna go through it. They can buy a product, but they're gonna still want to watch your content, and eventually that could lead to them buying another product, whether that's an upsell or a downsell, whatever the case may be, right? So we think of it in a funnelized approach. So we have top of funnel content, middle funnel content, and bottom of funnel content. With the top of funnel stuff, you're just trying to get more awareness, get more TAM, so total addressable market. How many views and subscribers can I get from this video? It's like pretty broad, just broadening your content. With the middle funnel stuff, it's like how-to videos or explainer videos around a specific topic within like whatever you're selling or whatever you do. So those also help as well with like conversions. You want to basically be able to grow your audience with the top of funnel stuff, nurture your audience with the middle funnel stuff, and then with the bottom funnel stuff, you're really looking to convert. So bottom funnel stuff, these could be long, niche, deep insight videos. These are typically like longer, more raw, and then instead of it being like a how-to explainer, it's like around a specific topic that might be inside of that how to, if that makes sense. Like going really, really deep to one point, pain point or desire, once again, hitting the psychographics of your audience that they may have. And then at the end of the day, how can you tap into your competitive edge? How can you allow that competitive edge to bleed throughout your audience? And then how can you YouTubeify that, have it still be sophisticated to your audience and come up with a unique angle where you don't look like everyone else in your niche is like our methodology and my mindset around content right now in our space.
True. And how are you thinking about competitive edge? Because I'm sure like you work with a lot of people there in somewhat of the same industry. How do you then
Yep.
identify the competitive edge for each specific business that you're working with in terms of YouTube?
100%, brother. Honestly, bro, we just asked them. I think that's what it
Hmm.
comes down to. You have to ask them like, bro, how are you unique? How are you different? How are you better than all your competitors? We need to know that stuff right away, and so we can
Hmm.
allow it to go through the content. For a lot of people, I feel like it comes down to what is your story? Like if you have a super unique story, we can leverage that in every single video, script, title, thumbnail. We can probably tap into it some way, right? If they have unique accomplishments or just things like they've done that are super big, also just like saying those things over and over and over again. A lot of people will get tired of saying their own message, but they have to remember that you're bringing in a new audience every video that hasn't heard your message. And once again,
Mhm.
you kind of want to treat content like a propaganda pushing machine. Like you just want to think that pushing propaganda on YouTube, but it's like your own positive propaganda of like why you think things work and what your story is and what you've accomplished and like just once again how you're different, how you're better, how you're unique. What is your strategy to trading compared to this guy's strategy? How long have you been in the game? All that type of stuff is like how we kind of think about it, but ultimately it comes down to really asking yourself because even I had to do it for when I made like when I decided I wanted to take my own personal brand serious because I never really asked myself what is my own competitive edge, and I had to ask myself, and then I went into our questionnaire system and I did like the entire process for myself. Because if you don't ask yourself and really think about it, you're not gonna know. So we just ask it from the client, and then we see like, okay, how can we like make sure people realize this through YouTube videos? Is how I think about it.
100%. And do you believe that it's true that the longer people watch your content, the more deep they get into the ecosystem as well?
Yeah, that's why I kind of stopped calling it like a YouTube sales funnel and more call it like a YouTube ecosystem because a funnel, like it just dies. Not necessarily dies, but once someone buys something, it kind of is like over, right? But for an
Hmm.
ecosystem, I kind of see this being evergreen and just like people being able to buy a product and still be obsessed. It's actually proven like when people buy stuff from you, they start
Hmm.
watching your YouTube videos even more. I don't know if you've like realized that for yourself, but like if you
Hmm.
really trust someone's content and you're able to buy a product for them and you know like and you trust that person, they're basically like an authority to you to an extent because you see this person as like someone that's knowledgeable and quote unquote higher than you, and that's because
Hmm.
comparing the YouTube content, which is like let's say an average video is 15 minutes, right, and you have a
Hmm.
short form content clip which is like 30 seconds, like the
Hmm.
amount of nurture and watch time hours in those are way, way different, which is also why you don't need hella views or hella subscribers to actually turn your content into cash. Like it's actually crazy. But that's why I'm all in into YouTube because I realize how powerful it is and how you can really monetize any skill. It doesn't even have to be like selling info products. You could be a person that handles real estate. You could be let's say you're a nurse and other people out there are struggling with like passing their nursing exams. You can create YouTube content on how to do that and you're solving the pains and desires that those people have. And then if you want to hide that information deeper behind a paywall, that's when you can sell a product. And it's just like I think YouTube's like a no-brainer. And I'm not against like short form content or Instagram at all. Like I said, we've done things like that for like Neon, Love Live Serve. We've done clipping, we've done unique short form content as well. I'm not against it. I just think YouTube has higher leverage and it's like it's a better long term play. If you look at any personal brand that's allowed, like if you ask anyone, they're gonna be like, would you rather have 100K true YouTube subscribers or would you rather have like a million Instagram followers? And a lot of people are gonna choose like the YouTube because of how strong it is.
Sure. Is it only for monetization purposes, like most of the use cases that you work with? Like, is it only just to optimize for business cash flow, basically?
Yeah, a lot of the time it is, and I feel like that's how they can get the best ROI on our service
Hmm.
because we don't want to rely on YouTube ad revenue. It's super tacky and it's inconsistent month to month when if they're selling a high ticket product for $8,000 per month, they're able to get like ROI on the service. So I think that's a great way to think about it. And just like yeah, if you're relying on YouTube ad rev, it's kind of inconsistent. Obviously, there are clients that come to us that do care more about the views and subscribers, but even them, like majority of the time, people are selling something on the back end. And once again, I think that's the true power of YouTube. Even if you do have ad revenue coming in, why not like have some back end that's printing? So. Yeah, because we have videos like even right now we're working on a huge project where we're trying to get this video to hit like over I would say like a million views is like really our goal for it. And obviously like that's gonna lead to like he's running a software. So yeah, it's like you have to kind of understand once again what's the goal of the client and what they want. But majority of clients are just looking to like how can I get ROI by selling a high ticket info product? And that's what we're here to help them do. But there's nuance to it.
Sure. And
Yeah.
what do you wish more people or more business owners that you're working with now and going to be working with into the future understood in terms of working with you and also just how to approach and think about YouTube as a whole?
Yeah, I think something that I've recently realized, bro, talking with
Hmm.
my team is just like content takes time. I recently linked up with my content strategist and we were talking. while eating dinner, and I was just like, we were talking about one of our clients that they like the first batch of content that we post with the client isn't necessarily gonna always hit. And you have to always think and come back to what is the goal of my content? Because a lot of people start posting content and they'll quit because it's getting 200 views. But what if those 200 views are directly who you want to sell to and they could eventually lead to sales? And you have to think about it from the long-term scope of like, if I was to post 100 videos like this that I know are hitting my goal, down the line, would it be worth it? Like, would it make sense? And I'm even realizing this for like my own personal brand, and it's like realizing to be patient with it, and like sometimes it does take YouTube time to find the audience that they want to bring in to watch your stuff, and that's totally fine. Just having patience with it, because we've had clients that obviously can close like 1 to 3 high ticket deals within their first month working with us, no matter if they have a big or small audience. But we've also had other clients that take them like 2 to 3 months to really like see the ROI. But after they see the ROI, like they're extremely happy and ready to keep going month after month. And I think like that's the main goal with it. Like content takes time, and don't be pressed to give up so early, because it's like I think it's an asset that you have forever. And I tell people this like when they hop on the call and they're like, "What is the ROI we can expect?" And I'm just like, whether or not this gets like ROI right away, you can leverage this YouTube content in your sales funnel. You can leverage it in marketing, email, newsletter. You can leverage it whenever. People are always going to be able to come back and watch this content, and it's going to be well done to the point like you don't know when it will make you money or when it will be useful to you. And that's how I kind of think about YouTube. Long term game for sure.
100%. And
Yeah.
are there any recent wins that you've had that you can obviously publicly share?
Yeah, for sure. We helped we helped Brett, we helped him in the process of scaling to his first $1 million a month by adding the
Mm-hmm,
his second channel into the process. So 80% of the people that were buying that info product were watching that second channel, and we helped
mm-hmm,
handle the entire done for you process there. So ideation, scripting, thumbnail, all that type of stuff, right? We had a recent crypto client that did 300K cash collected last month, and all
mm-hmm,
his traffic came from our YouTube like operation that we were running, trying to see if there's anything like huge. We just did a 100K video for Anaya McMillan. If you guys know her, she's a woman that wears a hijab in her videos, and that was our first video that we handled the content strategy and the video editing on. So that one also popped off. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I might be missing. Tons of case studies and like testimonials that I post like on my Twitter or IG that people can go see as well. I think those are like probably the most recent notable ones. I'm trying to see if there's anything else, but I think that's like mainly it. We've obviously had like other crazy stuff. We had a client, PB Trading. They
mm-hmm.
basically went from doing like $1 million or a year or something. No, $1 million in 6 months to like now they're doing like 600K per month, and a lot of that is due to like the YouTube organic traffic. So we just came in. We had a video that hit 100K with them as well, and just like yeah, we're just questioning our clients. I'm grateful once again to the team that I'm able to have them by my side to help us do that. We work with some great clients, and we've been helping them out. Same thing with my boy Orangey. That's another person. We had 3 back-to-back 100K viewed videos. So a lot of cool projects, even like stuff that are still in the works that I can't talk about yet, but I'm always updating people on like what's happening on my Twitter. So if you go there and want to check out results, that's like what we're cooking up. But yeah.
Of course. And what are the two to three things that you've noticed that has been the main reason why you've been able to get the results for your clients that you've been able to get? If you were to point to two or three things, or even one.
Yeah. Um Ideation for sure, like realizing what is YouTube ideation and how to do it the right way. So being able to quote unquote find outliers, and then also find a way to make them new and better, understanding how to write a script that's gonna have people watch the entire way. But it all starts from the idea. What's gonna make your ICP click? And that once again that comes down to the psychographics. If you can properly do that, I think that's gonna help a lot. Second thing is like analyzing data per video. And this is something that we did with Ryan Clogg's company. And he's mainly running. So they started working with us. I think it's like our third month. I genuinely mean this when I say it. Every single batch of content has gotten better because we've been slowly analyzing and tweaking like what the ICP like necessarily wants. And we've been getting feedback from their team, and we just had a video that did 20K views organic. And mind you, this is a brand that they suck at getting like organic views. There a lot of stuff is just paid ads. So to get a video that's 20K organic YouTube like views and actually getting them leads right and converting to is like just amazing to see. Like being able to analyze off the content, I think is another thing that's important. And then one of my recent favorite ones is like I would just like to say like positioning alongside the competitive edge. So if you want people to choose you in your market and you want them to pay you, you have to do something to stand out or position yourself differently than everyone else because there's hella people that probably want to buy like the info product niche that you're selling. So how can you stand out? How can you look more sophisticated? How can you look from some like how can you look like someone they would trust or listen to or like actually buy a product from? So I think those three things, if you can understand the YouTube strategy side, which is not that easy to understand, which is why people choose to work with us. If you can find, I guess analyzing the stats behind it and being able to pick up like, okay, I need to keep this and double down on it and cut this out of my process. And then the third one is like, how can I position myself in the market and then competitive edge. I think those are like the three recent ones that have like came to mind off the question you just asked. So yeah.
And how big has data been around getting those results? Like, do you store lots of data around that or no?
I feel like we don't necessarily store a lot of data, but like when it comes to like YouTube data, we don't necessarily store that. When it comes to other stuff, we might, but we
Hmm.
analyze it a lot. And I'm not saying like like just looking for the smallest tweaks. We're looking for audience feedback and how we can tap into that too. So like if there's any comments, DMs, or sales objections, how can we take those insights and reverse engineer them into more ideas? We're also looking at like how's the audience picking up when it comes to CTR and when it comes to the average view duration and really analyzing those, not necessarily like once again at a super deep scale where we're like geeking out about it and like trying to change stuff right away. But people are like, okay, this video did this on the thumbnail, this video did this on the average view duration. What are we gonna do moving forward on the next video to make it better or in the next batch of content to make it better? And I think if you can do that by every video, it's been able to help. But yeah, being able to tap into like, because there's a lot of misconceptions around like CTR and AVD. If you can understand what they actually mean and go execute, that's also been able to like help the team and I. And at the end of the day, like for like a lot of reasons, why our clients work with us, once again, it's cash collected. So in some cases, the CTR and AVD like necessarily don't matter as long as they're making money, but we'll still analyze and be like, how can we get more impressions? How can we get more views? Because obviously that could also lead to more cash collected, even if you don't necessarily need those things to, do that on YouTube. But yeah, that's like my kind of take on the data and analysis side of it.
100%, 100%. I love that, bro. I love
For
that.
sure.
I mean, I'm learning so much. Like, I've been learning so much about YouTube that I didn't even know. And I'm sure,
For sure.
you're doing amazing work for your clients as well, and also for you. What is,
100%.
like, for you, what are the lessons that you want to take from the specific video or just from your journey so far that you want to take as you grow and, get more skin in the game?
Yeah, main lesson is just like right now for me, just taking it day by day. Um, Taking it day by day and not being afraid to get out your comfort zone, I feel like are huge for me, like personally, besides like business stuff. I think if I can do that, if you can show up every day and just put in the work and then also just like don't be afraid to take huge opportunities or huge risks. If you can mix kind of both of those things with the position I'm in right now, I definitely see me accomplishing all my goals within, the time in the future, like without a doubt, and just keep showing up and keep putting in the work and not being scared to take those risks. And then more on the, I guess, YouTube side or more feedback for, I guess, the audience is YouTube stuff related wise. I mean, keep doing what we're doing. If it's not broken, don't fix it, but being open to learn. And another thing I got from KT is like paying experts, not necessarily like it might not be like people in my space because I think I've understood a lot like about the space we're in, but let's say the content strategist that runs Mr. Beast's stuff, like if I can pay him for an hour of his time and want to learn more about that, that's probably some place that I can improve in and just try to like learn, just constantly being a learner and not getting content around anything that's happening it's probably like something I'll recommend to the audience, and also anything like YouTube related wise. So if you can do those, get the knowledge, and then actually apply it, because a lot of people will do the knowledge part. They'll read the
Mhm.
book, they'll watch the video, but they don't do the application part and actually execute on the play that they've learned. So yeah, I'd probably say those two things are, yeah, really important, bro.
True, true. And anything else that comes top of mind? Any like last things that you wanna like leave some source with, or nothing on top of mind?
Um, I feel like just staying down is something I tweeted about recently. I feel like a lot of people will start getting the results they want or start making the money they want, and they just want to do like flashy things, buy materialistic things, or just start going crazy or start thinking they have an ego is another aspect of it as well. If you can just stay down long enough, eventually your time will come to where you can kind of like, even you won't even need to necessarily show off or pop it. People really can just like, once again, if you know, you know, and people will be able to tell what you have going on. So just like being able to stay down, delay gratification, play the long term game. I think of this online business stuff really as a long term game. Have the cash flow, moving into assets, and just like, yeah, I think if anyone that's watching this video, and to my future self, if I do that while showing up daily, while taking calculated risk, and honestly just bet on yourself, bro. That's why I dropped out of college after my first semester. That's the best bet you'll ever make in your life, is betting on yourself. So bet on yourself and then show up every day, and I think you'll win for sure.
True. And if you
Yeah.
were watching this video 10 years from now, what is the one thing that you would want yourself to remember about this specific moment in time? About how you think
Yeah, I
about
would say,
business? Hmm.
yeah, I would say, I mean, I hope as I go, I continue to solve harder problems, because that's going to be a huge thing that's able to grow my earning capacity. So being able
Hmm.
to solve harder problems, and just really just never giving up and never getting shiny object syndrome. I think if I can focus on what I'm doing, and within this avenue, there's so many other problems I can solve. So being able to solve those harder problems, staying in this avenue, because I know it works. I know I'm passionate about this. This is something I love. And then once again, to double down on it, like showing up every day, being able to learn more from people and apply it, being humble. And I think that's a recipe for success if I can execute those things in the right order. Because it's not only about just like knowing what you need to do and having the ingredients to make the pie, but you need to do those ingredients in the right order, or else you're gonna get the wrong result. So if I can do those things, I think everything will work out just fine, God willing.
100%. And where can people find you if they want to reach out or even just work with you?
For sure. To work with us, contentcashmedia.com. And then for my personal socials, it's Nate NKGWN at Nate Kangwin at all socials. So IG, Twitter, YouTube doesn't really matter. My last name is just abbreviated, so that's how it makes sense. But yeah, those are my socials. I appreciate you having me on. Make sure you guys go follow my boy too. But it was a great conversation for sure, bro.
Of course, your links, Nate's links will be in the first top of the descriptions. So if you guys want to check him out, please do check him out. And yeah, Nate, I just want to say thank you so much, bro, for joining today and sharing some of your time and also
For sure, bro.
spitting some game, bro. Like this video, I'm gonna be replaying in the next months to come and even
For real,
years.
bro.
Yeah, 100%, bro, 100%.
Appreciate that.
Why not?
I appreciate that,
Yeah,
bro. I'm
yeah.
happy I could
So
hop on. I appreciate you inviting me as well, bro.
thank you again, bro, and thank you once again. So, yeah, hopefully there's a part two. I'll be excited for a part two, bro.
For
Like
sure.
that'll be
Let's
fire.
let's run it. Let's run it in like
Of
6 months to a year. Maybe in person
course,
probably too if you can pull up here. We'll see
of
though. Or I
course,
can pull up on
of
you.
course. Of course, bro, of course. So yeah, like I said, guys, if you want to check them out, links are top of the description, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.